Flashy, big, bold, definitely blingy, and even rebellious.
What's known today as the statement ring was called a cocktail ring by your mother, grandmother, even great-grandmother. Believe it or not, this piece of jewelry is celebrating 100 years of fascinating history.
Before we get into its wild beginnings, let's talk about what makes this piece of jewelry such a standout.
Cocktail rings are typically designed with an enormous center gemstone mounted in a high setting and often accented by smaller stones, creating a dramatic halo effect.
The result is a piece of jewelry that is hard not to notice. Many cocktail rings were made with the big three, rubies, emeralds, and sapphires, but today's eye-catching designs can feature any number of colored gems and even cabochons or pearls.
Given the abundance of semi-precious and lab-created gemstones today, it's also possible to create show-stopping rings without breaking the bank. The options are virtually endless.
As to how they're worn, British Vogue recently implored its readers to wear one on each finger, which Beyoncé took to heart.
Queen Bee wore 7 statement cocktail rings by New York-based jeweler Lorraine Schwartz, along with a little ruby stunner on her pinky finger. Beyoncé liked her red carpet look so much, she paid $12 million for the whole lot. She obviously liked it and put a ring on it.
Also, actress Zendaya recently rocked the Oscars red carpet with an 8-carat yellow diamond cocktail ring from Bulgari that she also loved so much that she decided to treat herself. Of course, Zendaya is a brand ambassador for Bulgari and did get a little employee discount.
These are modern examples, but check out this 17th century painting.
The wedding portrait of Isaac Massa and Beatrix von der Leyen by Frans Hals features a joyful bride wearing a ring prominently on her right index finger.
At the time, it was thought that a vein led directly from the index finger to your heart.
So how did cocktail rings get their name?
These flashy and flamboyant rings are linked to the Prohibition era of the 1920s, when alcohol was banned in the US and when speakeasies became dens for socializing and illicit drinking.
The era was also a time of tremendous change for women.
They had just won the right to vote, and many were also working outside the home. Clothing styles changed from restrictive corsets and long dresses to shorter hemlines and even trousers.
Gosh, I can't even imagine a time when women didn't wear jeans.
This new breed of woman in the US and in Europe also cut their hair into a bob, wore makeup, smoked, drank, and danced with abandon to jazz. Full-on rebels.
Women at these speakeasies were often known as flappers and enjoyed flaunting their new independence. When they went underground to socialize, women would sport these oversized rings to draw attention to the fact that they were sipping illegal libations.
Clearly not a wedding band, and often bought with the women's own money, the cocktail ring emerged.
Cocktail rings were often set in gold or platinum, and white gold was also a less expensive alternative. Plus, the Art Deco and Art Nouveau periods added their own flair to the already extravagant designs.
The bigger, the better, and the more colorful, the more noticeable. The definition of statement jewelry.
While the 1920s marked the beginning of the cocktail ring, in the 50s and 60s, the cocktail ring had widespread popularity. It was a standard dress-up accessory for women heading to a party, to a restaurant, or an evening at the theater.
As middle-class wealth grew, a wave of home entertaining took hold and the birth of the cocktail parties.
The 70s briefly saw this jewelry staple go out of fashion, but then the 80s hit big.
Big hair, big shoulder pads, and of course, big jewelry. It's not surprising that cocktail rings were back in favor, but this time they were being worn both day and night.
Since the 80s, cocktail rings have become a staple jewelry item, and these statement pieces will be in style for years to come.
That's because they look great no matter what the fashion, with jeans and a white shirt and a little black dress, or with an evening gown. Ultimately, it all comes down to attitude, which cocktail rings have in spades.
So, go ahead and root around your grandma's old jewelry box to see if there's a fun vintage ring in there, or you could go treat yourself to one.
Maybe one for every finger?
Then raise a glass to the 1920s flappers who gave us this glamorous jewelry box staple. Don't forget to like and subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss out on future videos. Thanks for watching.
Bye.